Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Rhonda's Lovely Sparks. Hope everything is going well for you today. I'm checking out my volumes. They are doing fine. Welcome. Welcome back. We were here last week together. Glad to be back this Saturday again, saying hello to everybody. And, I've been on this roll. Make sure you smash that like, share. The cat is trying to drink my water. It's so funny. It's like they know when I'm preoccupied and they get into things. Speaking of water, everybody that's out there, can you all take a water break? Drink some water? Mm. No, the cat didn't drink out of it, but she was that close. They know when I'm preoccupied. Like she wants to jump up here, and I hope none of this stuff crashes down because it's not like it's, permanently secured. Uh, in order for me to really test it out, it's like I have to use it and go live and actually use it. So last week, you all probably saw where my monitor came crashing down. It's like my husband's my stylist, so he makes sure that all the ruffles and everything is in its right places. Um, and so it's exciting for me. I've gotten better because I used to have anxiety before I would come on live. And it's so funny, and I found out what can I do to make sure that I don't have anxiety. Um, and then I found out, guess what? I have to like plan the whole day. And I have to make it a long thing. Like take my long bath, Epsom salt, lay out my clothes. I don't wear makeup. I just wear a little bit of lipstick. That's it. Clean my face, exfoliate my face, pick things that that go well together, like this person my husband bought me, and my wedding rings. I polished my nails yesterday. Um, and finding something that has a little spark to it, something that's sparkly, and I just use that time when I get ready for the live is to make time for myself. And then it's so funny when I get dressed and I go out there and I see my hubby, and he'll go, "Ooh," when he sees me, because that lets you know when I'm not going live how I can look very natural. And when I dress up, my hubby is so in love with that. And I dress up, he's like, "Wow, she's moving, she's getting up, she's doing something. She enjoys it. She looks forward to it." And I do. And I'm in the comfort of my bed. And so we have like a sleigh bed. My husband bought me roses for just to get me beautiful roses. He got those for me yesterday. And my daughter got me this mug. I like big books and I cannot lie. Hardy har har. Yes, I love stuff like that. I love reading books. I have a book collection, and it's so funny. Out of all these years of my life, if I see a book, if I see it featured on CBS Morning, news or something with Gail King, and she'll talk about a book, and I'll buy it, or I'll see something on YouTube, and I'll buy that book, and I would just start collecting it. I will put it on the shelf. Lola, hey Lola. Hello, I just love you, Lola. Thank you so much for everything you do. And it's Lola, Lola, hot sauce. Hello, my beautiful. I'm so glad to see my Lola. And when I say that about you, Lola, I am serious about that. Oh, we have a fur baby. It's chocolate chip. She likes to get attention from me, but then she doesn't like to be held that much. but she wants to be right under me. Chocolate, say hi. She's so beautiful. Tortoise shell pattern. And I found out after I watched my live, thank you so much for helping me pronounce Jocelyn Hernandez's name correctly. Kissy, kissy to the cat. I thank you for that because I don't know why I was saying joy when it's not spelled Joy. But I thank you. I thank you for that. And thank you for everything. And it's so funny after you sent me the $20 super chat, then yet today, last night, I looked at my Cash App and I had $20. I'm like, what? Look at me. Brush them shoulders off. Be dunk. What's up? Cowboy Nation is representing this mother. Hello. He goes, Big Don goes, hey, Mrs. Rhonda, dropping in to say hello. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for dropping in and saying hello, my love. That's B Duck. He has also a channel. I try to make sure I mention channels, because a lot of people don't know that they're creators. He has a wonderful channel where he covers Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. So y'all subscribe to B Dunk. It's all about us collaborating at times, coming together, letting people know, what's out there because for me, I use my channel to bring people together. I have subscribers from around the world and basically from around my favorite places around the United States, Canada, Nigeria, Thailand, England. I mean, all over the world. And I love it. I love it because they teach me something. And from time to time, I will post, the people from around the world from where they, as a matter of fact, I do that today. I do that tonight. I'll post where they are from around the world and share that with people because a lot of people don't know. I have went up to 2,700 subscribers solid. Smash that like. Please smash that like. And people say, why? Why does everybody give me some water? Why does everybody say smash that like? Because when you like it, it tells YouTube, the algorithms, tells YouTube, because it's not really managed by people, it's managed by a system. And when they see that a lot of people are liking it, most likely they will get that video or your content and they will push it out to more people. So that's pretty awesome. And the like is our lifeline. So it's not anything that we all are trying to mimic after each other. We really appreciate the likes. It is our lifeline. It's how we're measured for our success. It's how we get paid. It's how we attract people to get their commercials to sponsor what we do. So thank you so much. And I'm on a series, everybody. Body. I'm running a series that's covering Jocelyn Hernandez and the Zeus Network. And the reason why is not to really just gossip, because I'm not a gossipy type of girl. I like facts. I don't like dealing with assumptions. I'm a storyteller, and I'm also the queen of movie marathons. And you all can go to AI and verify that. AI will tell you, Rhonda's Lovely Sparks is the queen of marathons. You say, how did you get that? Because I put out, and I haven't done movies, for a little bit, but if you go check out my movies, you'll see. I don't want to take up, everybody's time by trying to explain to you about my movies, but it's a big shebang. It's a big deal. I have Dragnet sometimes, like a 30-minute criminal series. I'll have Dick Tracy. I'll have car vintage car commercials. I have to have that because I love vintage cars. I put in my promos of me kissing Mothra, and I have my timeline there, and I make sure that everything is captioned on my movie. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you could just click and skip to what you want to watch. Like, if you just wanna see the vintage commercial, if you just wanna see the movie, if you just wanna see my promotion, if you wanna see, um, the what do you call that? Intermission? What they had the vintage intermissions back in the day when we went to drive-ins, if you all are experienced with that, and if you all are not, still come here and visit my movies. I have one called The Colossal Man, and it's a two-part series. It's the first one, and a lot of people are not aware that there is a part 2 of The Colossal Man, The War of the Colossal Man, and it's going viral. 73,800. Yeah, it's going viral. Thank you very much. I'm so excited. I never had a video that went viral like that. No, maximum 9,000, 4,000. Not that many. So I want to reach out to a lot of my new subscribers. Since January, I have received an additional 1,000 since January. 1,000 subscribers. Is that not amazing? I'm so happy about and then with that video yay, thank you, Lola, thank you. Yeah, and within that video, I have 1,000,000 impressions. That means people are clicking into it and watching it. So I do post that on the community tab. I am a big communicator, and check out the community tab where I reach out to people, especially my members. Thank you. Lola Cowboys is a member. She is a paid member. Momo is a paid member. My husband, I'm a paid member. Lady Libra is a paid member. Miss Diva is a paid member. So thank you so much for paying and investing because I've posted before what it costs me to run this channel per year. And when I shared that with my husband, he was like, wow, I didn't know that. If you look at how much you spend on the internet, on my programs to create movies, to create shorts, to get this mic, to get a computer and my lighting, that costs money. You know, it costs money. So thank you all so much for helping me pay for this. I appreciate you. Um, I appreciate you. From the bottom of my heart, I just want to say I love you. Remember that Stevie Wonder? Ooh. Da 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 da. I sing. I do poetry. Do spoken word. I am very talented. Y'all check me out. I have lots of playlists, lots of things and material and content on my playlist. So welcome. Welcome to Rhonda's Lovely Sparks. I appreciate you all spending time with me tonight. I will be also starting up the movies again. I'll be starting up the movies again, but I'm going to make sure I continue the lives that I'm doing. I'm trying to get back in the rhythm of what I'm doing, uh, and working in the movies and working in for my members' personal one-on-one, videos and doing things like that. So I'm trying to build this all back up and get me back in a rhythm without overwhelming myself. So thank you for your support. Uh, I have started a topic, and with this topic, I keep doing this with my nose. I'm sorry, but sometimes there's cat hair, and we do clean. I have like a handheld vacuum cleaner. I have a tall, slender, vacuum cleaner. So, but sometimes it just happens. So you see me do this, it's because I have cats, 5 fur babies. They will make their appearance from time to time. So, and I'll introduce you to them. Um, what I want to share with people, the topic tonight, this is a part 5 series about Joseline Hernandez and Zeus Network. And I'm tying in Zeus Network because her cabaret dreams uh, started on Zeus Network. She's done a lot of things for herself, and let me share this with you all. I love strong women. Just letting you know, I have so much respect for strong women who speak up and speak out. And she has a huge fan base too. Don't get that twisted. There's a lot of things that some things that could make you cringe. I like things that are cringe worthy, by the way. But I've been around strong women my whole life. I'm a strong woman. I'm more poised than Jocelyn. Uh, but guess what? She's a millionaire. I'm not. It's just what it is. I'm not willing to take those risks. But Jocelyn Hernandez, a beautiful mom, I cannot judge her. I mean, she's not a personal friend of mine. I don't meet up with her to have tea or Starbucks. We don't have long phone conversations because I'm sure there might be some things that I probably would disagree. But to be honest with you, I've seen Jocelyn Hernandez videos, a lot of her videos, and even her personal interviews. And I really admire her ability to, when she's interviewed, how she handles those gotcha questions. She was also on another show where she went through this speed thing of interviewing 20 something girls to be on the cabaret. It's like a pop the balloon, but it's not a pop the balloon. It's like Jocelyn versus 20 women or Jocelyn versus 100 women, right? And I'm looking at this woman, and she's a businesswoman. She has survived. Yeah, she was a stripper. She was all that. But I basically, with my content, I'm all about, yeah, dealing with the realities. I'm all about storytelling, facts, as much as I can. Oh, here she is. This is my chocolate chip. She doesn't like to be held long. Martha does, though. She'll be here in a minute. Oh, she's here. Um, I'm very big on myself, making sure I don't judge. And let me tell you where this comes from. I'm going to be transparent about this. Um, I am estranged from my parents um, for probably going on 7 years now, for good reason, and my sisters. And it just got to a point where I had to save my sanity. I grew up around strong women. My mother was a strong woman. My grandmothers were strong women. I worked with strong women. Lola's a strong woman. I'm just attracted to people. My bestie in California is a strong woman. I am attracted to strong women. And I don't judge women who are not strong. I have empathy. But we're speaking about Jocelyn Hernandez, right? And I'm going to give you some quick facts about her. And then we're going to get into the guts and glory of this topic. My topic hits on the chaos and history. How does Jocelyn Hernandez and the cabaret and what she does today, and how does this tie into vintage movies, vintage actors, actresses, and what we've seen and learned with vintage movies, because that's my brand. Vintage movies, storytelling, book reading. Um, how does this tie in today? What makes us so uptight that people either have a aha moment or they gasp? Does it make them wrong? No. I think there is an element in our life where we should be poised, respectful to one another. I don't think we need to be boisterous in public and be confrontational, but this tells you why Rhonda's lovely sparks is not Jocelyn. I tell people if I was over the cabaret, if I was over baddies, they would beat my ass. I wouldn't last. I wouldn't last because I'm not wired that way. And I respect women that are handling their business, that are getting the bag, that are outside and doing what they need to do to survive. I'm not going to judge that. I don't have to be a fan. I don't have to invite them for dinner, everybody, because I'm a private person anyway. But I do respect what they have to do to take care of themselves, to get what they want. And I'm all for it unless you're hurting people. And this is a fine line, right? We could look at Jocelyn, and it is a fine line. And we could say those who are aware of her, if there is the fighting, and when I tell you there's some fighting, gosh, it's a lot of fighting. And there are grown ass women, which this is their culture, this is their life, it's a culture. And if it's how they live, why should I judge that? I mean, do I expect people to talk like me and be like me? No, no way. It would be a very boring world if we were all alike. But I see grown women who are hustling, who are using Zeus Network to get that bag, to get out of whatever bad situation they feel that they are in. Not everybody is rescued by white collar jobs or blue collar jobs. And I can really can't say if that's really a rescue. But these beautiful ladies are tied up into they're entrepreneurs. They do their stripping and they're going to school and they're getting their education. A lot of them are making $10,000 a night stripping. But Jocelyn's belief in her is that she understands the underbelly in a society that she lives, she has empathy for, she gets it, she lived it, and she's qualified to run it. I think she was a stripper for 7 years. She started stripping at 15 years old. She was born in Puerto Rico. I think she moved to Miami when she was 7 years old. Um, when she came here, she met Stevie J, who's a very famous producer. Her produced a lot of, I think it was Biggie Smalls. It's a lot of people. He made a lot of money and probably still is making a lot of money. Stevie J. Stevie J, I want to correct, was not married to Mimi, but the way they lived, it was like marriage. A lot of people, when they're filing their income taxes and they're looking at women who are living with men and men living with women for a certain amount of time or residency, they're married. It's how America works when it comes to business, right? Uh, and it is a business. I look at my husband, marriage is love for me, but you still got to use that social security number to file your taxes. You're still going to be taxed on things. But getting back to Jocelyn, um, I want to correct some things. She had, of course, two parents, her mother and father. My correction is allegedly, yes, her mother was an alcoholic, and her father died of an overdose from crack cocaine, from crack. Got my facts together. And I definitely wanted to fix a lot of that, and I want to highly apologize. If Jocelyn reads this or looks at this, I want to apologize personally to Jocelyn for getting a lot of facts about her life wrong. Her birth, uh, her birth name is Shanelica Bittencourt, born November 3rd, 1986. Her birthplace is Ponce, Puerto Rico. She moved to United States age 6 uh, to Florida. This is going to be a 5-part series. We are on part 2 right now. If you missed part 1, I have it in the playlist, so go check it out. Uh, she has 5 siblings, 1 sister and 4 brothers. She stripped for about 7 to 11 years. Her stage name, see, I said that, Chanelica Bittencourt. She was discovered by Stevie J around 2011 at Oinks in Atlanta. She was discovered at a strip joint, Stevie J. You know how Stevie J is around women. Relationship status at Discovery, Stevie J was with Mimi Faust, not married. Breakout show was Love and Hip Hop in Atlanta in 2012. She's been around a while. Known, she's 39 years old and pregnant. Congratulations. Um, she's known for reality TV, music, and viral moments. Puerto Rican Princess is her persona. Major show is Jocelyn's Cabaret on Zeus Network. She has 1 child, Bonnie Bella. So pretty. I love that name. Her parent struggles, what I was saying about her mother, alcoholism, and her father, crack addiction. Her languages is English and Spanish, and she's an entrepreneur, and she owns the streaming platform today called Why Are You Here TV, and I have paid to her streaming platform. It's not Zeus. She's, it's kind of like when you have a channel, you got to start from somewhere, right? You start from somewhere and you build and you grow and you get better and better. My previous experience, I used to work for a newspaper. I did marketing. I used to do composition, and rhetoric, and art for a newspaper. I worked for a radio station. I have some things under my belt, right? And I could take that and still tie in and critique some things and make things sharper. And when I do it live, I try to be the best I can each and every time. I want it to be better. I want it to be pristine. I want the icing on the freaking cake. Okay? Yeah, with some little sprinkles and shit. But I wanted to tell you about that. And let me give you a quick update. Um, it's 7:58 a.m., almost 30 minutes into my life. Welcome to Rhonda's lovely spikes. Make sure you like, share, comment. It helps. And there's a new thing called Hype, HYPE. Hype my stuff up. Johnson Hernandez has placed allegations on April 2026. Jocelyn publicly accused Zeus CEO Lemuel Plummer of cutting off her payments. He's the CEO of Zeus, cutting off her payments after she launched her own streaming platform. Why Are You Here TV? I've seen all her videos. She has conflict with him, interfering, and there's conflict where he's saying he's interfering with her business ventures, including allegedly blocking opportunities involving her husband. We're going to cover in one of my the series. It's a 5-part series. I'm going to cover some information and history information about Lemuel Plummer. Okay, CEO. He's has a lot of experience. He's way over a millionaire. He's powerful, and the accusations are P Diddy ish accusations, alleged. He's demanding her to remove her content from her platform, which she called, which he called illegal. causing her emotional and physical stress during pregnancy, what she says led to her hospitalization. She says that, she lives in Miami and she says that he's been threatening her life. He has people that's calling her on the phone that's threatening her life, that he has beat up on the woman that he is presently with who carried his baby, and that he's known for allegedly beating up on the woman before her, who is also a creative executive producer of a lot of the shows on Zeus Network. She said, I'm saying allegedly, we have to say that on YouTube, allegedly, that he has some RICO issues, weapons, that he partakes in a lot, with just about majority of the women that he brings in. That's how he gets his peace. He has a relationship that is so-called open. I don't think that Scotty with the body likes it because I've saw their reality show. But it seemed to be that Lemuel Plummer has made it clear of where he stands, right? He pretty much told her in so many words that I'm going to get with women. You are my number one woman, but I'm going to have many women. I'm going to be a busy man. I'm not going to be home all the time. And she made that clear. He made that clear to her. So, no, I can't, I ain't dealing with that in my relationship. No, but it's a lot of those relationships going around out there. Okay. She also said trafficking allegations, comparing him to Sean Diddy and threatening FBI involvement. Hello, Miss TR. Y'all subscribe to Miss TR and subscribe to Be Dog. Yay! Yay! So happy for my family. You all give me so much inspiration when you come here. Every time I come here, I act like I'm speaking to an auditorium of 1,000,000 people at a football stadium. Always treat people like you are the cherry on top. You are my kings and queens, and thank you for being here. Joseline Hernandez also claims that her contract guaranteed perpetual payments, which she says were suddenly stopped. Obviously, she left Zeus. Now, y'all, tell me how you feel about this in chat. Do you think she was right to leave? I mean, I've worked for corporate a lot. I've worked for other people for over 30 something years. And I'm former executive assistant for George Foreman. Doesn't mean I'm trying to drop dimes. It's because I resigned from working for him. I'm going to drop the T. Are you ready? Let's say allege to protect my channel. After George Foreman passed away, his daughter that nobody knew about reached out to. She was desperate to reach out to the family because she wanted to be there for his funeral. Now, is that their business? Yes. Is it mine? No, not really. It's not my business. I'm not trying to drop the tea to be gossipy, but let you know facts because there's a beautiful ending to this, right? He hid her. He hid her this secret for years. His business. I think she's probably maybe, what, 18, 19 years old. And I say this to let you all know how many years ago was this? He was married to his wife. He was married. Sometimes people will get into the pulpit and preach their stuff, right? I'm not putting bad things out on him, but I'm just letting you know I resigned. And my reason for resigning because it was a lot of things, and that is again another whole life. But the beautiful thing that the outcome that came from that, I saw his daughter that lived overseas was at his funeral because that's what she wanted. She cried. She said, "Do you have a way of reaching out to him?" I said, "I don't. I'm not with that family or I don't work for them anymore." She was hurt. I mean, terribly hurt. And she has a video out there, and I'm going to share that video about her only with members. So I'm not trying to make you become a member, but I want you to become a member because I shared those confidential things to members only. And so I say that not to discredit George Foreman, but I say that because things happen to everybody. And what I loved is that she was able to get to America and go to her dad's funeral. I just want to share that with you. Um, so the point I'm trying to make when I say that I've worked with all kinds of people, I have. I would never work for somebody that I felt had some questionable behaviors because when you play with, you get on you, right? When I heard Jocelyn talk about her affiliations with Emil Plummer, she said that she knew about his secrets. She knew of them, but she never told anybody. She says, "Poor little old me. You're harassing me. I'm pregnant. I've been hospitalized. You're harassing me." Several people, allegedly, have come up dead. Do I believe her? Yeah, I do. Do I believe that she was involved in some things? Yeah. Because when you're into money, you, I say, have to sell your soul, a percentage of your soul to the devil. It's why I did not take my singing career further, my singing gifts, because I would have to compromise myself, right? What they call the casting couch. I had to take drugs or be given drugs. And mm-mm. So I could sing to people in the nursing homes. I could sing to my husband, to my grandchildren. I could sing there in my caregiving jobs. I could sing there. So with this perpetual payments that's guaranteed to her, she needs her money. Do I think he should pay her? Yes. She gave him 7 years. Uh, I think she has a right to her intellectual arts, her intellectual creative rights. Um, that is a touchy subject because we have so many people, like, for example, allegedly, with Motown and different top producers, including P. Diddy, allegedly, who have really compromised and used a lot of people to get where they are. Uh, Lemuel's response to Jocelyn Hernandez is that he says that she's been paid very well, beyond standard fees, including residual style payments. The dispute stems from Jocelyn breaching their agreement and non-payment, and he has never attempted to harm anyone, including Jocelyn and her unborn child. He claims he tried to handle the matter privately and respectfully, but she escalated it publicly. The public reaction, how the social media feels about this, is that some believe Jocelyn due to her emotional post and history of Zeus. There's not only Jocelyn talking about this, everybody. There's a lot of people that are in conflict with Jocelyn. They're talking about how they're being treated at Zeus. Others believe Plummer because of his detailed financial rebuttal. And many say the truth um, will come out down to contracts and legal documentation. So let the courts handle it, right? We don't have to take sides. We have opinions. What um, Lola has shared with me, she's a beautiful mom. And I saw that. I really believe that. I believe she loves her husband. I believe she's good to her man, and I believe her man's good to her, and I believe she has a healthy home lifestyle. She has been on drugs most of her life, saying that Stevie J has introduced her to drugs because he was on cocaine, allegedly. Does that come with that? Yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But let's say with Jocelyn Hernandez, let's say with her life today, I'm not going to persecute her based on because she says the word bitch a lot. That people on her show was fighting and maybe she was executive producer of her own show over creative and executive producer rights. However, she has a boss too. Lemuel Plummer's her boss. Lemuel Plummer is known for having high intensity programs, intense violence. Now, I'm going to get real with you all. Were these people who signed up to be a part of these shows grown? Yes. Did they sign the contracts? Yes. Were they aware of what they would go through? Yes. Did it look like Jocelyn abused them? Yes. But what was so ironic, he made sure that they had these tour buses or tour vans, nice ones. I think my husband called them sprinters or something. That would every time they got into a fight and they broke an arm and a busted lip or scratched their skin or got bit or broken legs, I'm telling you, a lot of injuries happen on the show. Um, that they have hired a security company called Guardians who would take them to the hospital. And somehow they had a right to be in the hospital until they got better quickly. If it was too bad, then they would lose their spot. But if they could heal, then they brought them back to show with Band-Aid, duct tape, peanut butter, and spit. Whatever they did, they brought them back after these fights. Now, I can't put myself in their shoes and judge, right? Me, little old me. Can I put myself in their shoes and talk about someone else? No. Because the majority of these women, and this is why I'm doing a series, a five-part series. Majority of these women, they've been in prostitution, they've had pimps, they've been beat to death, s assaulted, um, crimes, got walking around with ankle bracelets, just got out of jail, going back to jail, on parole, on probation. And I call them the underbelly of society because they are frowned upon by a lot of people. Um, and I've always said, probably jokingly, but not, think I'm gonna have them over my house for a supper party, you wanna sip tea and play bridge? No, because 'cause I'm not a fighter, but I respect them as strong women. Majority of them are parents. What they do is their business. What becomes my business when I will start judging your ass, if you're out there unaliving people, beating up old folks, that kind of thing, no. With minors, all that stuff, no, no, I'm gonna judge your ass. Not saying I'm gonna judge everything, but as far as someone who has using a life skill, using their beauty, using that their ability to get on that pole and spin around the pole. Look, I was young before. I'll be 60 next month, and I could never swing on a pole like that. I wanted a pole in my bedroom though for aesthetics. Yeah, I won't be able to use it, but for just aesthetics. Um, but that's what I want to share with you is that the bottom line, uh, Jocelyn continues to accuse him. Namel denies all wrongdoing and says she has was paid properly and that she has breached contract agreements. No legal filings or lawsuits so far, and the situation remains public, hated, and unresolved. That is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what am I tying into this to get you all thinking? And that's why I like to uh, bring in my angle differently. And I have a different angle because I'm not trying to be different. I know I'm wired differently. I know that. That's why I think I'm real good at the content I give because I do look at life with rose-colored glasses. But I'm a strong, mature woman that's overcome homelessness. Yes, I was homeless. Got out of homeless, strived, and worked myself out of that. I did not want to choose stripping. Could have. I do not want to do that, and I found I used my business skills to get me out of that situation. And I was lucky to have business skills. But these women that we're talking about don't have business skills, probably dropped out of school for whatever reason. They were dealt their hand. Now, I've always said that what's going on with people in that position, men and women, not everybody have options. Not everybody has opportunities. Shout out to my hubby for my beautiful roses. Yay! Baddies, we outside. Yeah, I watched all of Baddies. Yeah, I've done my research. Um, it's a long topic, is why I have uh, 5-part series. This is part 2. Check out my playlist. In this particular 1 hour episode, I want to share how this affects men, all cultures, and races. And if you see on my thumbnail, it talks about what's the chaos, and it talks about history, slavery. How do we tie this in today? And how does this affect the decisions that people make in order to survive? Everybody knows I love vintage movies. I respect history because what we're doing today is all based upon history. When it comes to the politics, when it comes to decisions that we make, when it comes to how we live, how we treat each other, how we are wired, comes from history. This is not new. Everything we talked about on this in this series is about the underbelly and the conflict and the jealousy and the silence and the glamour and the struggle. And it doesn't shape it doesn't just shape women, it also shapes men. It shapes every culture, every race, and every community. And because vintage movies didn't just teach women how to behave, they also taught men on how to behave too. Why are men calling us thoughts, bitches, and hoes? I will tell you why. Be patient. I will tell you why. Um, it shapes every culture because vintage movies didn't just teach women. I did share that it teaches men too. I've always tried to be well rounded when I talk about the things I talk about. Vintage movies taught men to don't show emotion. Vintage movies taught men don't communicate your feelings. Anger equals power. Jealousy equals masculinity. Control equals love. Vulnerability equals witness. And women are competition and not partners. And conflict should be won, not resolved. Men inherited a script that told them to be silent, stoic, dominant, unreachable, emotionally unavailable. Is that just vintage? We're talking about how I'm tying in how we are possibly still enslaved by the negativity and how this what this has to do with today and why we made mistakes when we were younger. Why did women we compromise ourselves in S relationships? Why sometimes we made bad decisions? We take all of this knowledge and we invest into our grandchildren. We invest into our sisters, to our friends that are grieving, to people who are online who are just getting into some mess that we've already experienced. We can help someone because we've been through it. We've been through it. When you combine with all of those environments like the underbelly, and I posted that on my YouTube community tab, check that out, how I define underbelly where survival is the priority and men learn to express everything through black exploitation movies, spaghetti cowboy movies. Almost every spaghetti western, there's a woman who is getting hard. I can't say the full word. Anger, competition, ego, violence, and withdrawal. Men weren't taught emotional intelligence. They were taught emotional suppression. And suppressed emotions always leaked out sideways. That's why today men struggle with jealousy that they can't name, anger that they can't explain. And my sister says each generation is supposed to get better, not go backwards. Yes. And I have to be hopeful. I have to believe we are getting better. Relationships they can't maintain or vulnerability they can't access. Do you know my knowledge, what I know and how I feel is how my marriage is successful? Because my husband comes from a different culture. I come from a different culture. Just because we're in the United States, it doesn't mean that we are all simplified and alike. I love and respect his culture. He loves and respects mine, even though there is a loss in translation sometimes. Is that normal? Yes. But because I have this knowledge, empathy, and understanding and strength, he respects me and I respect him. I respect him. We also want to identify that this isn't just a woman problem when we talk about Jocelyn Hernandez, that it's a human problem created by old scripts that we never questioned. And let me tell you this ties into my brand storytelling, movie watch parties, public domain. Every culture absorbed these lessons differently, but every culture absorbed them. Vintage movies taught society who deserves sympathy, who deserves shame, who gets to be the hero, who gets to be labeled dangerous, who gets to be labeled dramatic, who gets labeled exotic, who gets labeled the underbelly. And those labels don't fall evenly. With Black communities, and I talk about Black communities, I'm Black and proud. With Black communities, we're taught to hide struggle to avoid judgment. We're taught to be strong at all times. We're taught to survive without complaining. We're taught that conflict must be handled privately or explosively, nothing in between. Let's say Latino communities. I want to identify. We're taught passion equals chaos. We're taught to suppress mental health. We're taught Latino communities. We're taught to endure family conflict silently. Speak on that in the chat room. White communities, we're taught to hide dysfunction, to become passive aggressive. Historically, we're taught to turn your head, ignore the fact that someone is getting lynched, to party, to feel entitled when someone is getting lynched. Am I right or wrong? I'm leaving the conversation up to you. White people were taught to pretend everything was perfect. We're taught to judge the underbelly while secretly consuming the underbelly. Asian communities were taught emotional restraint. We're taught to avoid conflict at all costs. We're taught that shame is worse than pain. Men and women across all cultures were taught to perform roles instead of expressing the truth. Vintage movies didn't just entertain us, vintage movies programmed us. Thank you for being here, Rhonda. And I'm from Texas. Rhonda's lovely sparks. And I am, the time is 8:30. I'm 1 hour from my live stream. Vintage movies didn't only entertain us, but they programmed us. How has it harmed us? And we're talking about Joseline Hernandez and how this ties into vintage movies and in our culture. These old scripts created jealousy, explosive anger, fake friendships, hidden resentment, emotional isolation, gender wars, cultural misunderstandings, generational trauma, communities that don't talk, people who don't know how to resolve conflict. And what have we learned today? Now that we're finally unlearning these scripts that ties into my subject key matter, we've learned that vulnerability is strength. We learned that community prevents conflict, that jealousy is a signal, not shame. Emotional intelligence is survival, that communities heal what silence harms. Every culture has trauma, and every culture can grow. Men deserve emotional safety too. Women deserve to be heard, not judged. And the underbelly is not a moral failure, it's a human story. We're not living by vintage scripts anymore, people. We're writing new ones. And how does this tie back into Joceline's cabaret? Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Smash that like. Joceline's cabaret is a modern mirror of old patterns. Glamour on the surface, real struggle underneath. Jealousy unspoken, conflict unresolved, emotions unprocessed, people performing roles that they did not choose. And it's not just entertainment, it's a reflection of everything society taught us and everything we're trying to unlearn. The underbelly isn't just about race, it isn't about gender, it isn't about culture, it's about humanity. And humanity is evolving. And this is what the last comment that my sister told me, Tony. She wrote in the comments, let me look it up here, pull it up. The comment that she made was each generation is supposed to get better and not go backwards. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to everybody, Lola Cowboys, B Dunk, Miss TR. Thank you, everyone that's like hiding in the cut or sitting in the cut and just busy, just got their earphones on, right? You're listening to me with your earplugs. I'm old fashioned, y'all. I still call them earphones. I don't know what they call them today, but you know what I'm talking about. You're at the airport. You're working at the airport. I have friends that work at the airport. I have friends that are at the airport taking a flight to go to their next wherever they got to do. I have people that are overseas that are just waking up. A shout out to all of you all, and thank you. And I don't want to ever. My storytelling is not about being boring, but to get to the point, but not to rush. I'm not a gossip channel. I'm not about talking about other people's lives and making it worse than what it already is. But I am about seeing if we could try to open our minds and see if we can try to understand other people, why they're doing what they're doing. What's their issue? And I can understand. Um, the underbelly exposed glamour versus struggle, and that's what my life is about. Truth. Vintage movies plus behavior, what happened historically, how it affects us now, and how we have evolved. When people talk about the underbelly, they love to point to fights. They want to point at the fights. They want to point at anger, trash, unaliving people, the chaos. Like that's all it was ever. But the truth is deeper. The way people handle conflict, jealousy, and pressure didn't come out with nowhere. It came from what we're taught, especially by the movies that we grew up on. Because vintage movies, they were more than entertainment, they were instruction manuals, how society expected us to behave. Okay, you all, I had to wipe my nose. Wipe my nose. Sorry, I'm human. Vintage movies taught us how to keep the pain quiet, how to smile through disrespect, how to hide your struggle. Remember Believe It to Beaver? Didn't the mother run to the front door when the husband came home from work and took his hat and his coat, hung it up, had dinner ready? Women must endure to be respected. Conflict should be dramatic, not honest. It taught us beauty matters more than boundaries. Chaos is entertainment. It's true. Channels are booming when it's chaotic. Got millions of subscribers. My channel is about sustenance. My channel is about longevity. My channel has long shelf life. That means you're going to always want to come back and look at the playlist. It's going to sit there and it's going to resonate with everybody. Those people in that time, they did glamorize. They glamorize suffering. Think about what's getting exposed now about Betty Davis, Elizabeth Taylor. Mm. Let me tell you something quickly. I sent an AI on women who married Joseline Hernandez. You ready? Post in the chat that you're ready. Women who married Joseline Hernandez. Vintage movies, vintage actresses. Mae West. These are powerful women. Mae West, Clara Bow, Jean Harlow, Marlene Dietrich, Rita Moreno, Betty Davis, Ava Gardner, Elizabeth Taylor, Madonna, Sharon Stone. Every one of these women have had hard lives and who have had to compromise themselves to get where they were or where they are today. So, what's the difference with Jocelyn? Because we're in 2026. I'm not being an advocate for Jocelyn. I'm being an advocate for strong women. I'm a strong woman. Had to endure a lot being a single parent. And that's a whole nother life when I had a gun put to my head. That's a whole nother podcast. Back then, if you had a problem with somebody, you addressed it directly. Even if it came out messy, there was no pretending, no fake friendships, no quiet jealousy simmering in the background, and the underbelly had conflict, but it also had honesty. What vintage movies didn't teach us about how to communicate without exploding, how to name jealousy before it grows, how to set boundaries, how to resolve conflict without violence, how to protect each other emotionally, how to be vulnerable without shame. But because we didn't learn those skills, we carried them We carried that harm forward. We learn how to perform emotions, but not how to process them. We learn how to fight, but not how to resolve. We learn how to hide jealousy, but not how to heal it. We learn how to survive, but not how to feel safe. And that's what Jocelyn Cabaret hits so hard today. Okay, so she was a stripper. She's not stripping anymore. She's open minded. She hires a lot of strippers. In her head, what she's trying to do is get these people the bag. She's trying to get them where they're not suffering, not having pimps anymore or sugar daddies. She's trying to help these women become independent. Do they have to fight a lot? Yeah. Are they fighting in the streets? Yeah. Are they fighting men off of from top of them? Are they compromised in a position where they are selling themselves and there's just this monster? Can you imagine how many experiences these women have had because they've had to bring home the bag? They're making approximately sometimes $5,000 to $10,000 a month. A lot of them have their stylist. They do hair. They have a clothing line. They have makeup lines. They have eyelash lines. They're trying their best to get to a point where they can make their money and move and find a place to live outside of where they're living. Because when we're talking about Jocelyn on that show, you see the collision of vintage behavior and modern pressure. You see women who were taught to be strong, silent, glamorous, competitive, now placed in an environment designed to trigger every insecurity they've ever had. Are they insecurities? Yes. But you know what you notice about Jocelyn Cabaret and Baddies? At the end, when they go through having to process their shit, after the fighting, broken noses, at the end, they become friends. If not friends, they learn how to not have people as friends anymore. They learn to make their own living. They learn to get off under the pimp. The glamour is fake. The struggle is real, and the emotions are real, and the jealousy is real, and the conflict is real amongst them. Yeah, we could say, well, oh, well, let me go, Palmer, and, because he's executive CEO. And then we could say basically that Jocelyn Hernandez is the executive producer, that they're, fake scripts. No, majority is not. Are they creating conflict? They're creating something that's watchable. They're creating something that will help them become millionaires so they can feel like Jocelyn Hernandez and Lemuel, that they can feel that they are contributing to a society that's unnourished, that's struggling, that maybe we can build up a community that is ignored and judged. It's true. They're making millions. Are they having a fight? Yeah. Is the fighting real? Yes. Ladies, women are fighting, bludgeoning each other. I mean, hit each other upside the head with chairs. There was even a woman that showed up with bear mace and maced the crew that was on stage. It's a lot. It's a lot to try to decipher, and sometimes you don't have to decipher and become one with them to make yourself feel not guilty. You don't have to be around it, but just that you know that there's a bigger society out there They're acting like days of medieval times. Yeah, because hey, Tony, Miss Tiara, think about this. When we look at the Romans, right? We look in those days, they were fighting. You know, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, right? But let's just say we did hear about the stories about Jesus that, he got crucified. He was crucified and he died for our sins, right? Can you imagine before Christ how many people were just unalive just to be unalived? A lot of people. So let's say when Jesus died to forgive our sins, he rose again on the third day. But still, he forgave, but still he laid out a platform. I'm not getting religious on y'all. Whatever you believe in, I'll support you because I'm spiritual. I would never sit before a preacher again as long as I live. Just telling you, that's how I feel. But women and men have been preyed upon since dirt. They've been used as commodities. This has been around forever. And that's how what Ms. TR was talking about history and how that plays a role today. The glamour is fake. The glamour is fake. And why this conversation matters, because today we're finally learning what vintage movies and what happens historically um, is happening today. Survival is not shameful. Vulnerability is strength. Jealousy is a warning sign, not entertainment. Conflict needs communication, not performance. Women deserve safety, not to be a spectacle. Community heals with silence, harms, and we can break the patterns that we had inherited. We're not hiding anymore. We're not performing anymore. We're not shrinking ourselves to fit those outdated roles. We're telling the truth. We are transparent. They call it the underbelly. We call it survival. It evolves when we stop repeating the lessons that harmed us and start learning the ones that heal us. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of Rhonda's Lovely Sparks. And I'll be back. I'll be back soon.